What the heck is that? It's about 7:10 a.m. I'm climbing up the hill from camp. I stayed at Quarry Gap shelter last night. And that bird that was making that awful racket, I'm told, is a whippoorwill. From the sound of the name, I thought it would sound a lot more sing-songy than loud and obnoxious, but it is what it is. Today I've got conflicting trail information. The trail sign says it's 16.9 to my shelter. Far Out app says it's 13.9. So in any case, supposed to get up to the upper 80s today, kind of humid. So I'm out early on the trail, but also it's not clear from the map how much water there is before the first shelter. It's 7 miles. So I'm loaded up with a little extra weight. Yesterday I took a Nero. That means a near zero. I stayed at the Through It All Ministries hostel, part of the New Life Church there. So I worshiped with them in the morning. Actually, I attended their Bible study too. And then it just so happened that on the last Sunday of each month, they have a big lunch and birthday cake. So I had a nice free lunch. And after saying goodbye to everybody, around 2:30, I hit the trail. Just about 3 miles back to the Quarry Gap shelter. And so now I am trying to get some miles in before it gets too hot and muggy. You can see more of these mountain laurel flowers. Looks like they're pentagonal. I think I said octagonal before. Yeah, pentagonal flowers. They're all along the trail here. It's just everywhere. They're not quite opened up yet. Like that botanist said, sometime in the next week or so, this place is going to be covered in mountain laurel. These bushes everywhere. It's going to be beautiful. But I got to keep moving. The mosquitoes are bad today. Well, this looks like a pretty easy section of trail, so might be a good time for us to talk. One of the questions I've been thinking about on the sabbatical, same question I asked 5 years ago, and that is the question, what do I want? What do I want out of life, out of my life? You know, if you ever want to stump a young person, or at least most young people I've talked to, ask them, what is it that you want? That can be a really hard and deep question to answer. And I've been thinking about it prior to this trip too, and now is a time to kind of refine and dig a little deeper. And the main thing I think about is how I want to have a good third act of life. They say that young people bring their passion, middle-aged people bring their productivity, they know how to get things done, and then older people bring their presence, they have perspective, they can lend wisdom and encouragement and help people aim for the right targets. And that's really what I want this phase of my life to be about. I want to help people be successful in ways that I was not able. I think about Caleb in the book of Joshua. After they had settled into the land, there were still this hill country, this mountain country that had been too difficult for them to take. They had to leave them be. And so Caleb, as an older man, I think he's 80 at this point, comes before Joshua. Joshua is the leader of the people after Moses. Caleb is now the head of the clan of Judah. And Caleb asks permission to take some of the younger men and to go into the hill country, to take what they could not when they were younger. In other words, Caleb is going to take a group of young people who were the age he was when he was not able to achieve the success that he wanted. And now he's going to use his wisdom, his perspective, his presence to help them be successful in ways that he could not. And that's what I really hope for this phase of my life. And so I really enjoy at High Rock working with our preaching cohort and helping the younger preachers get better at the craft and in their spiritual lives. And I really enjoy providing counseling. And I have to say, over these past years, it's been really fulfilling to work with Pastor Megan and Ryan and Michael, Justin, to see Justin go from director into his pastoring role and to see him growing in there. Those kind of things are really meaningful to me. And it's also something that is natural for this stage of parenting. I look at my kids, and 2 of them are adults, and I don't have control, not that I ever had control, but what I have is influence and hopefully respect. And I know my son sometimes expresses competitive desires, as he lifts weights and gets big and things. He's always asking me how much I lifted when I was his age and all those things. And my answer is always the same, is that I'm not competing with him. In fact, for him to do well is not something that I take negatively. It's actually very positive. I want him, this is what I said to him, I want you, I hope for you to exceed me in every way. I'll just celebrate that. And I hope that in this stage of life I can help him do that, and he'll believe that in his bones, that I'm there for him. My middle daughter is a bit different. She's not competitive with me. She sees me, I think, as a resource to mine. She'll ask me questions, learn things here and there about understanding people and little bits of wisdom, and she'll share that with her friends as if it's her own, and they'll think that she's just so wise. And actually she is, because it takes wisdom to recognize that someone else has something to offer and that you can make it your own. So that is really wise, and I hope to continue to be there in that way. For Eliza, I don't know, it feels like more and more that she doesn't really, I don't know what to give her. I mean, even the deep pressure massages and things like that are generally things that she doesn't want. Maybe that'll have to be something that I figure out as she ages out of the system, maybe gets into a group home. But whatever the case may be, I'm really thinking about this desire to have a third active life. And I don't know, for those of you who are joining me on this walk, some of you are in that young stage and you can bring passion to the table. You can bring energy that we cannot. I think of the Dark Knight comic where Batman is an older man and he's fighting this mutant in the sewers, and he's initially losing the fight until he checks his pride and realizes he's trying to match this monster with intensity, and he's an older man. He can't do that anymore. And so he leans into his experience. Well, you young people, you have passion, you have energy. But there are people around you, middle-aged people, who know how to get things done. Lean on them. Give them your energy to help make them successful, and they'll make you successful. Lean to those older people who can bring their presence. Similar thing goes for middle-aged people. Find those young people who have passion, who want to succeed, and you can help because you know how to get things done. And find those older people so that you know what things should get done and what things should be let go of. Make sure you're heading toward the right goal. I remember a comic that would have been a meme today, but there are a bunch of people in a rowboat and they're paddling along, and someone says, "We're going the wrong way," and another person responds, "Yeah, but we're making great progress." I think you need people who are older who can help you make sure that you're progressing in the right direction. And finally, for people like me, I invite you to come on the same journey as me and think about what are the ways that you can be building into the next generation, not just at home, but at work, in your community. Who are the people, like to really actually identify the specific people, like Caleb and taking the hills with the younger men. Who are the people that you can help guide and equip and build into in relationship to lend them the benefits of your presence and perspective so that they can be successful in ways that you never were? I don't know, that's what I want. And I guess the last thing I want for those of you who are watching to join me on this same journey. All right, I think that's about it for now. So sometimes as you're walking along the trail, you'll come to these little, what they call unofficial campsites or stealth campsites. In some places they're totally legit. In some other states like Maryland, they're technically not okay, but as long as you're good about it, forest rangers look the other way. But this is probably one of the nicest stealth sites I've ever seen. This is southern Pennsylvania. The ground is totally flat. There's this huge fire ring in here. That's one of the things they usually frown upon with stealth sites. Looks like there's a second stealth site further back in there. And the ground is not only flat, but covered with soft pine needles. And there's plenty of trees to hang a hammock. And there's only one or two dead trees like that one right there that you have to worry about. They call those widow makers, because if they fall over, well, you get the idea. Anyway, you'll see a lot of those along the way in certain areas, but seldom as spacious and nice as this one. The official halfway point changes every year, but I think this one looks more official than the other one. Let's look at some trail magic today. Trail angels are people who come by and give treats and drinks and things like that to hikers. And one lady was handing out beers to a couple people. She said they were warm, so I passed up on that. But there was an older couple and their daughter had set up at one road and were giving out cold Pepsis and Cokes and Dr. Peppers and potato chips and I forget what else. I had a banana and a Pepsi, which was very sweet. Some people do trail magic just because they like to be generous and they enjoy coming to talk to all the different hikers coming from different parts of the country and stuff, or world even. And some people do it because they have a connection to the trail. Maybe they've hiked it before, or someone they love has hiked the trail. But that's always a special treat when you get a little trail magic from a trail angel. I have been reluctant to film it just because, I don't know, I feel uncomfortable taking videos of people and then posting it, or changing the mood by asking people if I can video them. Maybe if I come across one that's sufficiently mobbed with people, I'll take a video and share that one. Here's Songbird doing the half-gallon challenge. Made it halfway.